So here's how you default mid. You need 4 bits of util for this. You want to have a dedicated mid rifler who is responsible for this default, by the way. So that player at the start of the round will come here and throw a Molotov or connector. You can either throw it like that or running lineup like this. You don't have to rush mid with this lineup. All you have to do is just throw the molly. You can wait, and then when flashes come, you can cross mid, okay? This Molotov just prevents any kind of aggression from the CTs without the use of a smoke. And if there is a CT who's trying to play aggressive, they're stuck in mid, so you can kind of beat them, and they're forced to use a lot of util if they want to get into cover. The second bit of util that's really important is your top mid smoke to allow you to cross. So that can be thrown from the waist pin right here, or you could have a guy throwing it from here. There's also a lineup from here. I'd recommend you learn all of them because it's just spawn dependent. And usually this smoke is thrown by the guy who lurks A because they never get a chance to throw any other smokes. This smoke gives full cover from Sniper's Nest, so no opera can see you cross. And that's the most important thing. We're not going to worry about cat or connector just yet, okay? Now you're also going to use 2 flashes. The mid rifler, after throwing their Molotov, when they want to cross, can basically just wing a flash where they're going to bounce it off of this wall right here. And the purpose of that flash is to kind of blind connector or anyone who's like playing right under window. So you could just throw something like that. If you want specific lineups, you can work on them on your own. But the purpose is you throw that flash while you're about to cross because you have a Sniper's Nest covered. You just want to check under. And then at the same time, you'll have a support flash thrown for you, which I call the God Flash for mid, right? Now that can be thrown from here by just aiming right there, run and jump throw. Or it can be thrown from the A side as well, here or here as well, where all you do is you just aim right there, you're going to run and throw that flash, okay? Now, these flashes, they pop right in the middle of mid, so they kind of blind cat, they blind anyone who's playing aggressive, sometimes they might blind someone's Sniper's Nest who's playing a bit too aggressive or like in a weird angle. So you want to time both these flashes off of the mid player's call. The mid player has the smoke thrown, they Molotov, they hold for the mid rush, and then they call flash for me, and then they're just going to swing and they're going to cross to mid. The mid player always keeps their smoke because they need it a lot. What might happen is the CTs might Molotov you at top mid, so you need to be able to counter that. Or you need to transition into deep mid control by throwing a Sniper's Nest smoke later when you're taking deeper mid control. So just remember, that's how you set up the mid default. Now, you don't have to use the mid default to take mid control, but it is important to show that mid presence. Because you can have one dedicated mid rifler showing that presence while you group up for an A execute or a B execute. And the way I've shown it to you, it's very easy to set this up where you can have support util thrown while still setting up for an execute. Now let's cover some of the variations you can run. One thing that might happen in the meta a lot nowadays is people throw instant window smokes that land right here from spawn. If you're doing that, it makes it possible to rush mid. So in that case, you can get rid of this default smoke because you don't have to worry about the timing. You will be crossing after the smoke blooms. So you can make some changes there. You can start using flashes like this one right here, where you throw it aiming at the window. It pops on this side of the boxes. So if there's a rifler playing aggressive, they get blind by that flash. And then you can also change the molly too. You could throw a molly like this, where it's going to bounce towards underpass. The reason you do this is when you're rushing mid, it's tough for your underpass player to rush underpass and clear it for you. So what might happen is CTs might play aggressive and play anti-flash angles like this. So you really need to counter that kind of like a play where like they play committed to deny your mid rush. The other approaches you could have is you need to know how to transition into deeper mid control from this default. So right now you might have your mid player who's already taken mid control and they want to take the next phase of mid control. So they might throw a smoke like this. Well, to actually take full mid control, you need more players. So maybe now you have a guy who's defaulted underpass who's going to maybe Molotov connector or maybe smoke top con or maybe molly bricks right there. Whatever they're going to do, that's up to you and the way you want to construct this default. But hopefully this initiation for the mid default gets you started on Mirage T Side.